Chopper. Hey man, Chopper with the ones and twos. How you do? Back on YouTube. Let's set the record straight, man. It's Shador Sanders and this Kevin. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but the head coach is having a little, you know what I'm saying? It's having a little controversy going on in the NFL right now because the head coach did something dumb last Sunday while they was almost about to beat the Titans, but really it's just that one play that messed up everything. It's just like Sador made a touchdown, then you put him out the game just for the 2 point conversion, but you had somebody else out there for the 2 point conversion, but he messed up the play. So, whose fault is that? I don't want to be that type of person, but I think the coach don't really like the Sanders family like that. Everybody's like, "Yo, fire the head coach of Cleveland Browns. Fire him right now." He don't respect the quarterback. He don't even talk. He don't even talk to Shador. He don't even help out Shador. You know what I'm saying? When Shador first came in the game, they put him out there, man. It was just he just throw him out in the woods like that. It's just long, like not no long. He just throw him out in the woods like that. Wasn't prepared. Didn't have no reps. Didn't have nothing, which is crazy. All of a sudden, you have all these. You just have a good quarterback. I mean, 364, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception last game. Almost beat the Titans. That's starting the quarterback right there. But you put him to the starting lineup in the last 4 games of the NFL season. Last 4 of your games, you just make him a starter. Joe Flacco hurt. You know what I'm saying? Not Joe Flacco. He got traded. But who was the other quarterback? Because he got injured. Well, he got injured, and in a situation with Gabriel, his girl was trying to was on Twitter snapping on Cleveland Browns like, why ain't my man out there becoming starting out to be quarterback? She has some problems. I don't know why. But then when they push the door out, she starts snapping on her, being on Twitter. I'm like, yo, come on, man. You just give the black man some. Just give the black man some room, man. Give him some space, man. Let him shine out. I just wish that Deion Sanders would be the head coach of Cleveland. I wish, but it's a wish thing, right? We all wish for things, right? We about to do a reaction video, right, man, because I'm not finna watch no big sports talk shows, sports analysts. I don't trust them like that.
It's my algorithm, but I see Shiloh and Shador more than I've ever seen any undrafted guy or fifth-round guy on social media in the history of Instagram, Threads, Twitter, X, whatever it is. Like, those dudes are everywhere. And they caught some of Deion's strays, right? Deion had a level of greatness that was untouchable. Right? Deion could say, yeah, I'm not interviewing with these people because I'm not going to be there in the draft. Deion could say, hey, I already ran 140. I ain't effing with no more of this testing because y'all already know I'm top 5 and it ain't tripping. Watch the film. Know who I am. That's the difference between, I think, Deion and who his kids were. And then I think Deion's approach to it made other people, Deion's fame, right? Deion's success, Deion's ability to one day be a head coach in the league. Also, Deion's ability and what he's done in navigating the present, right? When we talk about college of his children and now going into the pros, this is the first thing.
You think you know what went down during Shador Sanders' draft process, but trust me, you don't know a thing. Because Ryan Clark just lit a stick of dynamite and tossed it straight into the heart of the NFL world. And the wildest part? It's not about Shador's arm talent, not his reads, not his pocket presence. Ryan Clark says this entire saga was a calculated hit job, not on Shador, but on Coach Prime himself. For the first time in Deion Sanders' legendary, storybook, bulletproof career, the man who controlled every chapter, from Primetime the player to Coach Prime the icon, was suddenly powerless. And Shador, he wasn't the problem, he was the weapon. This is the same kid who survived 6 different coordinators, who elevated his game every single time, who played behind offensive lines that couldn't block a gust of Colorado wind, who dominated at Jackson State, then leveled up again in Boulder. His tape screamed, his production roared, his talent never blinked. But when draft season came, none of that mattered. Instead, the noise became deafening. Character concerns, personality questions. Is he really prepared? Critiques that had zero to do with football and everything to do with
Yeah, man, when they put him in that 4th round draft pick, man, they was trying to make a statement for the Sanders family, which is crazy. I don't know. I don't understand.
taking a shot at Coach Prime through the one thing that hits a father the hardest, his
For real.
child.
So many things about Shador during the draft process were character, personality. All these things that we can't prove on the outside.
And then came the reports, the so-called concerns, the whispers about Shador wearing headphones, little claims floating around with no proof, no evidence, stuff that couldn't be confirmed, but also couldn't be denied. Perfect, exactly how a hit job is designed. Ryan Clark called it out instantly. He said every story had the same pattern, allegations nobody could verify, accusations nobody could disprove, a shadow campaign built on smoke, not facts. This wasn't random, this was strategy. Because when critics realized they couldn't attack the tape, couldn't touch the stats, couldn't question the production, they went after something else, his character. Whispers became rumors, rumors became concerns, and suddenly NFL teams were obligated to investigate nonsense. But here's the twist, and it's the part that floored everyone. This was never about Shador. The kid was collateral damage, a pawn in a fight he didn't start. He wasn't the target, he was the pathway. The real aim was Coach Prime. The narratives built around Shador were designed to hit Deion Sanders where it hurts most, through his own son. Old grudges, old resentment, old enemies, using the next generation as a weapon. And the craziest part? It worked. For the first time in his legendary, untouchable, larger-than-life career, Deion Coach Prime Sanders walked into a battle he couldn't control.
Make you feel when you see your colleagues or your peers going in on you, man? Like, how does that make you feel?
No idea, man. You have no idea. We've always been in front of the camera, so they know how to navigate. They know how to handle themselves.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna catch them in no foolery and no mess. You're not. When you sit up there and say something like, he went in a meeting unprepared, like, dude, Shador Sanders, who's had 6 different coordinators, who has still functioned and went up, leveled up every time we brought somebody new in, and you're gonna tell me he
Every
was
situation.
You're gonna tell me he had on headphones?
So you a dog, your kid's a dog, and dogs gonna always rise to the top. You know what I mean?
There you
That's
go.
what I believe. You know what I mean?
But you
Then
did-
we're talking about
It did hurt. The Bible says God uses the foolish things to confound the wise. So it was some foolish stuff that went on, but you know what? That gave them.
He was a man who won everywhere he went. But the moment the idea of Coach Prime coaching in the NFL became real, they didn't attack him directly. They took shots at his kids first. That wasn't competition. That was fear. Ryan Clark said the part that cut the deepest was Chris Carter's comments, because Carter was supposed to be a peer, a brother in the game. Meanwhile, legends like Michael Irvin and Keyshawn Johnson stood tall, defending Shador, proving the truth. The ones who weren't threatened by Deion's rise, they spoke the loudest in his favor. And here's the irony, the sabotage backfired. Shiloh and Shador became more visible on social media than half of the drafted class. The hate turned into views, the doubt turned into attention, and Shador became more famous than players taken above him. Now he's in Cleveland, where Joe Flacco isn't the long-term plan, Kenny Pickett isn't the answer, and the real battle comes down to Dillon Gabriel versus Shador Sanders. And after everything he survived, rumors, character attacks, broken offensive lines, 6 different coordinators, hostile environment. A training camp competition? That won't break him. It'll wake him up. The smear campaign didn't stop Shedeur. It sharpened him. It gave him a list of names, a chip on his shoulder, and a reason to silence every critic who bet against him. Ryan Clark revealed something deeper too, a rare human moment behind the Coach Prime persona. For the first time, Deion couldn't protect his sons. And the pain wasn't just from the rumors, it was from knowing his own success may have put a target on their backs. But Shedeur's entire career was built through adversity. He thrived with every coordinator change. He elevated every time the stage got bigger. He processed the game faster than people realized. And that underrated arm? It was overlooked because evaluators were blinded by his last name. Now Shedeur Sanders stands in the NFL, not as a storyline, not as a meme, not as Prime's kid, but as a quarterback with something to prove and more motivation than any rookie in recent history. And the real question isn't about rumors anymore. It's this: what happens when he starts making plays in Cleveland and proves every character concern was fiction and every doubt was fuel for the revenge story the NFL accidentally created?
Yeah, man, I just wish put that man Shedeur in a starting lineup for next year, you know. I'm just wishing, you know, it don't gotta be like this, man. Why the head coach always hating on the Sanders family like that? The Sanders family legacy. It just, I think Shedeur needs to leave Cleveland because there's no future in Cleveland with Shedeur. He just needs to go somewhere else, to be honest with you. It's just that it's just more problems in Cleveland, man. They just give you more money just to stay in Cleveland. I don't know why. Just like Myles Garrett. When Myles Garrett was about to get traded, they offered him what, 100, 200 million just for him to stay. All that money, all that salary cap, you just want one man to stay. But you're not helping Shedeur out. I remember 2 games ago when Shedeur threw that pass to Jerry Jeudy. He caught the ball, but he fumbled, and then he was on the sidelines arguing with Shedeur. I'm like, bro, that was your fault. You caught the ball, and you made yourself fumble. That was your fault. You can't blame that man. That was an easy pocket. He threw the ball right to his hands, and it's crazy. Yeah, but, man, shout out to the Sanders family, man, and shout out to First Down Media. You know, this is a First Down Media video that I watch. Reaction video, man. So anyway, man, Chopper with the 1s and 2s. Make sure y'all like the video for reactions, for more reaction videos. All right, I'll see y'all later.